Hey challengers, Uncle Scotty here, and there was a question on the page a couple days ago about intermittent fasting and about people that don't feel like eating until noon or 1 or something like that. And is that a good thing or a bad thing? And what's the deal with intermittent fasting? So it was a good question. So I thought I would just answer it here as a bonus video. Intermittent fasting is convenient. I don't believe that any meal plan is good or bad. I think it's appropriate or inappropriate for you and your goals. And I think some meal plans are better long term than others. And I think some meal plans have consequences that people don't necessarily understand. Like the keto diet definitely has negative consequences long term. It really does. It reached a fever point and a fad, and that started to die off now in the last 6 or 8 months. It's gone away from its fever pitch, which all those fad diets do. The Atkins diet did that. The Mediterranean diet did that. Every diet has had its day in the sun where everybody just says, "Oh, it's the greatest one in the world," and then it starts to go away. So with the keto diet, when you're eating 75% fat, 20% protein, 5% carbohydrates, like your source of micronutrients like vitamins and minerals especially vitamins, is really limited. So that's an interesting challenge. But with intermittent fasting, so the challenge with intermittent fasting is there are several different ways to do it. Now, I am a fan of intermittent fasting. I do it every day. I call it sleeping. So I have my last snack of the day, which is mostly protein and some fat, at about 10 o'clock at night. And then I don't eat until breakfast, which would be around 7:45 some days. But if I go to Warrior Strength first, then I'll have breakfast at 10, sometimes 11, depending on how it goes. And so that puts me in a fasted state for a good 10 hours, like 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. is a good 10-hour fast. And what's the benefit of that? The benefit is your body gets to calm down and relax. Like, it's not always digesting food. And your insulin levels reduce and get to stabilize, which makes your body burn fat as a fuel source to a degree. Now, if you're diabetic, especially if you're insulin dependent diabetic, then you can't play this game because it's kind of dangerous because your insulin levels can get too low. So there's that. Does it work? Does intermittent fasting work? Yeah, sure, to a degree, but like nothing works. You make it work. So if you want it to work, it'll work. But here's the thing about intermittent fasting. Here's why people like it. People like it because it's convenient. It's easy. I don't have to eat breakfast. I don't feel like eating breakfast anyway. That's just because you've conditioned yourself to not eat breakfast. There's nothing wrong with breakfast. Breakfast is break fast. Break the fast. That's what breakfast is. It's breaking the fast because you were sleeping, not eating all night. So, but if you're one of these people that has a late night snack at midnight and then you're up at 6 and you're eating again, okay, that's not going to help you. But that's going to be in total caloric load of the whole day. That's the challenge there. Like I went to bed the other night just before 1 because I was working late, and then I had a staff sleep in. So then I'd open the gym at 5:30. Well, I had breakfast because I was starving, because I was running around for half an hour trying to get the gym all open in a hurry because the alarm company called. And then I ate. Well, now, instead of having breakfast at 8 at my last meal later, then I've had breakfast at 5:30. So then 4 hours later, 3 hours later, I'm hungry again. So I have second breakfast, and then I'm hungry. So now I'm eating more calories through the day. So that becomes an interesting challenge. So your lifestyle is your lifestyle. People like intermittent fasting because the one of the ways to intermittent fast is to fast for 16 of the 24 hours a day, meaning you have 8-hour window to eat all your food because convenient, right? Because people find eating annoying. I usually enjoy eating, but anyway. Now there's some challenges with that. Like the human body can only absorb 30 to 35 grams of protein in a sitting. Bigger people can handle a bit more. People that are more conditioned to it, bigger, like bodybuilders or muscular guys or whatever, can handle more protein per sitting. But if you're trying to get all your protein in 8 hours, well, that means you got to be eating every 2 hours during that 8 hours. And that's not always easy to do, and your protein count per feeding is going to be a bit high, and you'll still be full by the time it's time to eat again. It's not really convenient. So I know people that love intermittent fasting because they basically think they can just eat like a moron twice in 8 hours. Okay. You get all your calories in. Just, I get to just have, I get as much as I want. I get to eat all this stuff. It's great. But your body can't absorb all that food all at once. It can't. It's just like if you have a 1,500 calorie meal or 1,000, if my BMR is 2,000 calories a day. So if I have a 1,000 calorie meal once and then I wait and I have another 1,000 calorie meal, I'm going to have to get in 80 grams of protein per meal. And my body can't use all that. So it's just going to waste half of it. And when I plug in all of my carbs, my carbohydrates, your body converts that to sugar, to glycogen, and then your muscles don't need that much glycogen. So then it's just going to store it in your fat cells as reserve energy. So I'm just getting fatter. But then I don't eat for 16 hours. So then my body uses that fuel later. But why would you do that? Like that doesn't sound fun to me. So part of it's lifestyle, part of it's anatomy, physiology. I don't think you should. I'm not a fan of eating that much in spurts. And we know from all that we've studied about diabetes and insulin response and optimal performance that eating a little bit more often, like 5 to 6 small meals a day spread evenly throughout the day with an 8-hour, 10-hour chunk where you're not eating, that's the best. So the answer is it depends, and you get to pick and choose. So if you really, really, really don't like breakfast, well, that's cool. What I like in that situation is to have a hot protein drink. And then I've at least got something. And then it's protein for building blocks more than it's fuel. And then have a good breakfast shortly thereafter. But if you think about it like a car, if you were like going to drive your car to Vancouver, you're driving by Gasoline Alley and the fuel tank's at empty because you didn't put any gas in it. You just got out of the house and got in the car and started driving. You look at the fuel gauge, it says empty. You're not going to keep driving to Vancouver. You're driving on what? Nothing. Your car would quit. So of course you would fill up your car with fuel. Well, if you start your day and you're busy and active and you don't have breakfast, well, what's your body running on? Fat, right? That's what we're hoping. But that's not true because your body can only run on so much of a percentage of fat. And then it's going to do a couple different things. One is it's going to convert muscle for fuel energy because muscle is really easy to break down. It's bioavailable. It's electric. It's plugged into the system, whereas fat is inert beside the system. Requires a chemical reaction, right? Muscle can just break down. And the other reason your body breaks down muscle when you're hungry in the morning is because you can't afford it. Your body's like, oh, we're not getting any food. We can't afford all this muscle. Let's get rid of some of this. And then when you have a whole bunch of food, it'll go, oh, well, maybe we can build a little bit of muscle. But it's too fast. And then all of a sudden you're hungry again. You're not eating again. So for me and my observations, I don't think you can get stronger on intermittent fasting for most people. Although I know people that are the exception to that rule. I know two for sure. So everything works if you want it to work. Is it my favorite way to eat? No. I find it kind of annoying. So it's up to you. You get to choose. I'm not going to force you to say, well, you have to start having breakfast at 6 a.m. No, I wouldn't do that. So if you're really keen on just eating all of your food within an 8 or 10 hour window, as long as you're going to get in all your calories and you're going to space it out so that you're getting no more than 35, 40 grams of protein, 35 per serving, then you can make that work. I actually find that's pretty hard to do. So kind of vague. The answer is, it depends. I find greater success with clients who eat more through the day in that 14-hour period of time. And the thing is, if you constantly drip your body nice energy, your energy is going to go up. You're going to have more energy because your body's getting fuel. It's a chemical response. Oh, I've got fuel. I can convert that to heat and energy. I got more fuel. I can convert that to heat and energy. And you're going to give her. You're going to have more energy. You're not going to be moping around all day running on low ebb because you got no fuel in your system. Anyway, those are my thoughts on intermittent fasting. I know this is a bit of a long one, but I hope that's helpful. If you have any questions, let me know. That's what I'm here for. I want to help. I want to coach. So questions are good.